see about his audio, if his audio is okay or not on your end. Hi, what's going on, No Nation? It's CJ Wilson here with DoakTalk. I'm sorry for the wait, have some house cleaning things to take care of. Another one of our episodes in regards to, just kicking it with former players and pushing those live interviews, things like that, so they can get the backstory on the former players and get their story in regards to recruitment. They're playing days at Florida State. We got a special one here. We got Kenny Shaw, former FSU receiver, Seminole, national champion 2013. Was a part of that key receiving duo, with Kenny Shaw, Kelvin Benjamin, Rashard Green, and with Jameis Winston at quarterback. The most lethal trio, rather, not duo, the most lethal trio in FSU history. But before we get started, man, DoakTalk is brought to you by DASH.FI. DASH.FI is the modern charge card for digital ad spend. DASH.FI is your business-to-business corporate expense card program that gets you the highest cash back on the market, starting at 3%. Most programs start you off at that 1.5. DASH.FI, we're going to double that up at 3%. So make sure you guys tap in with the link within the description. And also, guys, we have a new membership going on with DoakTalk. Make sure you guys join our membership. We have 2 tiers of the membership: the $4.99 tier, which is the big dog tier, and the $9.99 tier, which is the Chiefs tier. And just to give you some information on some of the stuff that goes along with the tiers, like any videos we drop a lot of videos throughout and just hold them and sit them and drop them at certain times. If you are a big dog tier, then you get those videos firsthand as soon as we publish them. So anything in regards to, say for instance, my cornerback breakdown, that'll be coming out pretty soon. You guys will get that as soon as you drop the video versus the actual date we set to drop it. Any type of comments you guys have, any super chats or anything like that, you don't have to do anything like that. Any type of comments you have, it will be highlighted, and also your membership will be highlighted on the show. As far as the Chiefs portion, you get everything in regards to the Big Dogs portion, but you also get a ticket to one free tailgate. I'll let you get a ticket to one free tailgate during the season, whether it's any tailgate you want to choose. It could be the spring game, the home, away, bowl game, whatever it may be. And also you get discounts on all the tailgates as well. So go ahead and hit that link and join the membership. Also, speaking of tailgates, the spring game is 420. We're gonna hang out a little bit for 420. We'll bring in 420 the right way in Tallahassee. Big spring game, so we're gonna have the tailgate to go along with it. Make sure you guys grab your ticket to the tailgate. They're only $20 right now. $20. So again, they're gonna be 20 for a limited time, and we're gonna up the price to 30. So go ahead and grab that ticket for the dub while it's still hot off the press. If you guys want to be in Tallahassee that weekend, come hang out with us. We're trying to get some events scheduled as well, some pretty cool events for that Friday and things like that. So go ahead and hang out. But again, if you guys have any super chat questions or anything like that, and for the guests like Kenny Shaw, anything specifically y'all guys want to ask, go ahead and hit it. We'll go from there. Let's go ahead and bring Kenny over and get the interview started and hang out a little bit. Again, also make sure you guys like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you guys haven't subscribed already, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. You'll get these notifications firsthand. Kenny, what's good, bro?
Man, nothing can't call it. How you doing, bro?
Pretty good,
My
man.
bad
Glad
it
to
took
have
so
you, man.
long, man. Hey, I just want you to know you my boy. Hey, it took so long. Be busy.
Oh yeah, man. All day, man. Definitely. You're a busy man, man. I already know you got a lot of stuff going on in regards to organizations and things like that. So once you hit me and said you was down, I knew you was cool with it. Just a matter of time and once the opportunity opened up. So I definitely glad to have you on, man. You guys don't know, man. This is Kenny Shaw, man, former FSU wide receiver, route runner extraordinaire, national champion. Kenny, man, what's good, bro, man? Let's chop it up for a minute, bro. Let's bring it back all the way to Orlando, man. From your DP days, Dr. Phillips coming from Orlando. Let's talk about playing ball at Dr. Phillips and coming up in Orlando.
Nah, I guess you start with coming up because it's like Dr. Phillips was later in my, teen days, but growing up it was a lot of folks look at Orlando like Disney World, but that ain't really the case when it comes to Orlando. So, fast forward to now, just being the advocate of just the inner city kids and just the outskirts of it. It's a lot that go on that these kids need some mentorship. So, I was blessed to have some outside of family type mentors, which is important too. People always think, family is everything. Is up there, but them them outside sources that care about you more than family um was a big part. So it was a long route. Truth be told, real story. I got to bring Mama Shaw on the podcast one day. I told her seventh, eighth grade. I said, just to you know get out of certain situations and whatnot. Like, I am gonna get you a scholarship. And, seventh grade, middle school, you just I'm talking, but really that's my why. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get past what I'm seeing on the daily and whatnot. So yeah, it's one of them things that I'm glad that I still remember that point in life, because sometimes you get knocked off track, but you got to go with what your core is, and Orlando is my core. That's home.
No, it's really brought that up, especially at seventh, eighth grade. You kind of, saying that moment, and like you said, just something to strive for at that point in time for yourself personally, right?
Hmm.
So let's fast forward a little bit. You go to DP and start playing ball. Well, first of all, when did you realize that you was pretty damn good on the football field? Because I want to get to that point in regards to that seventh, eighth grade and talk to your recruitment, your first scholarship, and how that felt. But first
Yeah.
off, when did you realize like I'm a little different from all these kids around me?
Truthfully, in the neighborhood, I always wanted to play with the older boys, and Mama Shaw hated that. You know what I mean? Because I ain't gonna pass the eye test. Never have in my life. Look, that's but I'm gonna play bigger. I'm gonna play bigger. So I just knew at an early age, when I'm going against 16, 17 years old, and I'm like 9, 10, just don't care, just playing ball, and I'm getting busy with them. I kind of knew then. I just had to get put on the track as to believe that I can make it to, you know, playing NCAA. I can make it to college like this. You know what I mean?
100%. Yep. That's pretty much what it started for a lot of people too, man, in the neighborhood. So you get the DP, start doing kids up, your recruitment started to take off a little bit. Walk me through your first letter, so to speak. When did you get your first football letter? Because a lot of people, when you go
Hey,
through that recruiting process, that first letter is kind of near and dear to a lot of people. Of course, it
fact.
gets a lot better down the line. But when did you get that first letter, and what was that feeling like to getting that first letter? Saying like, "Hey, I may have arrived a little bit."
Hey, before I got my first letter, shout out to Tom Shaw, because he got me early off and took me to Wild Water Sports, and told my mom. He came to a game, was like, man, your son, man, he a good kid, and he got potential. I let him come train out here with dudes like Ike Taylor, Calvin Johnson. It was like dudes getting ready
My
for the
Shaw's the
draft.
man.
Yeah, Tom Shaw. Anybody don't know him, man? Hey, he's a guru. But I was out
Yeah.
I was out there in high school going against guys going to be first round and guys who got 12 years under their belt. So, you know, um,
How
10th
was it like
grade,
to see that in high school?
man, it was surreal for sure. But like I said, that's when I kind of realized, being out there with them guys, uh, close handedly, it was like, they got mental battles too. Like, they humans, and it was important for me to see that early off than later, because you got to tell these kids and all that, like, hey man, I I can cuss on here. Hey,
Yeah, oh yeah.
nah, hey, I was like, hey, you gonna have some fuck ups. And Santonio Holmes was my mentor at that point. He fresh off a Super Bowl MVP. So I fast forward 10th grade summer, we went to USF, Dr. Phillips, for our 7-on-7 team, and it was Coach Levitt at the time. I think that was his name, and I
Jim
did what I
Levitt.
had to do. That was when 7-on-7 was, no offense nowadays, but that's when 7-on-7 was like, we playing out there. We trying to get busy. Like, we need this offer. We need
That's when that
you.
shit was real.
Yeah, yeah. Less videos. Like, they know who the top player is based on that day instead of previous film. So I did what I had to do that day. They, at the end of the day, they called me the Slim Reaper, and Jim Levitt came up to my mom and offered uh like a verbal scholarship. And I got in that car. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, CJ, like, coming from where I come from, I was like, Ma, like, let's do this. Like, this D1. Like, let's do this. And she turned around that car and said, "Boy, be quiet. You got a lot more to come." And I trusted her, and
That's real though.
that was really.
So you go from the seventh, eighth grade feeling that, hey, mama, get this scholarship to actually getting that, man.
Mm-hmm.
I know that it's like a full circle moment, right?
Oh, hey, I told you heard what I said. I often do it with USF. Like, Ma, let's do this. Well, hey, I'm glad she told me to chill out a little bit.
Right, because it definitely got greater later. All right, man. So you end up being a big time 4-star receiver at DP, top 150 player in the country. A lot of schools offering this, that, another. Give me some of your top schools that you narrowed down your recruitment. Well, first of all, did the recruiting process get overwhelming at some point in time? I'm pretty sure it was letters on top of letters, calls, texts, and things like that. Did that process get overwhelming?
Yes and no. I would say yes because you'll be sometimes in a high school course of your day and you got to meet with a coach and you know damn well you don't want to talk to this coach, but you just want to be respectful. You know what I mean? Like respect is big, so they don't flew all that way. At least I can tell them some sort of the truth, and some was hard, some was easy. Um, but at the end of the day, we came to terms who I really liked, and I always been once I got that Florida State offer, I was like a silent commit since probably Friday Night Lights when I got the
Mhm.
junior MVP showcase thing. And I was like, man, I'm going here, man. I trust Dawsey. Out of all these coaches I met, I vibe with bro. Like, and you gotta think too, CJ. It was like this dude, I added him to in like damn near like a father, come so it was like, man, this is no brainer. They ain't really lying to me. I trust this staff, and it was nobody really close. My mom told me to go take the visits just to see the world, but I did it, and it was still Florida State in my heart. So I just remember going into the senior year. I told Dawsey, I was like, man, I'm with y'all. I'm gonna just commit on Under Armour All American game. Like, just I'm from Orlando. We just want. I'd like to put at least a city on the map a little bit. So
Mhm.
um, I told them boys that, but also it was like um, always we had a secret group chat before everybody signed on, like Jeff Luck, Christian Jones, LaMarcus Joyner. Like we had a little
And
secret
that's
thing.
another thing too, man. Your class, that 2010 class,
Yeah,
was the class really that put FSU in position. I always say Greg Reed
yeah,
was that player
man.
that kind of
It
put
was
FSU on the map, but
yeah,
you guys as a class is the one that really set the motion going forward.
yeah, man. It was Jimbo first class, and I know he probably was thinking like us, like shit. This your first year. This my first year. Look, what's up? You know what I mean? So it was almost like we built the family like from ground up, and it's beautiful at the end of the day because now that I see the back end of things, the boosters, the fans, how they talk. Sometimes it's like, well, I know hey, them folks was stressed out too. They ain't know what the hell was happening, but behind closed doors, like you said, like I seen the Greg Reeves, the Jermon Fortsons, I seen Burt Reed, Taiwan, EJ, Christian Ponder. I was like Nigel Bradham. I was like,
Mhm.
I was scared of bruh at first walking in the weight room, but it was just like at that 2010 class, we just had some like confidence about us that we were gonna change it, and it really did start real full tilt outside of football. It
What
was
was Jimbo's message to you guys? Because, like you said, it was his first year. It was his first year as a head coach.
yeah,
Of course, he had history as an offensive coordinator, things like that. This is his first year running the show. What was his message to you guys on the recruiting trail back then?
man. Jimbo was like one of them dudes where he will say a lot, but it'll be a little because he's so country, but you'll understand it. And throughout his message, it was like, I need you just as much as y'all gonna need me, and as a player, hey, and as a coach nowadays, mentor, you gotta have these kids to trust you first before they can do anything. And he built that with a great staff. Like I've been blessed to play with some good coaches, you know what I mean? And all over the board. So Jimbo first message was just like, "Hey, it's gonna be hard, but if you trust it, you'll get it." And you see, nobody gonna play first year offense wise in Jimbo offense.
Hell
So,
no, not with
hey,
Jimbo.
man, hey, your boy, hey, I hit my mama up after the goddamn Sanford game, and I said, man, I'm about to transfer, man. They playing with me, man. But it was just it wasn't like no real deal. Like I'm gonna transfer. It was just like I'm in my feelings type shit.
The freshman blues.
Yeah, and the freshmen, some of them got in on defense at the end, and I just remember one again, Mama Shaw, like, man, keep going, bro. You know, resiliency type shit. Just trust it.
Mm-hmm.
And
But no, it's good to have your mom in your corner because a lot of people don't know, man. Like I'm pretty sure 90% of incoming freshmen go through that because you've been the man so much. You always have the amount of them come in to play day one, this, that, another. And sometimes you feel like, and sometimes it's just that you should be playing day one, but there's other reasons why the coaches aren't, this, that, another.
yep,
A lot of freshmen, they kind of lose track of that and want to transfer, end up transferring, leaving this, that, another, instead of sticking through understanding like that's the normal process of being a freshman. So for you to have your mom to kind of,
mm-hmm.
piggyback on during those times is real clutch.
Yeah, it was mama, and like I said, like I had an honest coach, Dawsey. He kept it funky with me. Like anything I asked, Dawsey, where I'm at on depth, can I get here? What do I have to do? And truth be told, you don't get that a lot nowadays. Like a lot of these folks be in it, but around these youth and all, but they don't keep it 100 with them. Like, be honest at least with the youth, bro. You can lie to a lot of everybody else. Don't You can't lie to the kids, man. You know what I mean? So Dawson said keep going, Jimbo like you. And that's all I need to hear. Look, I got a touchdown the third game into the season. Like, it was just everything, everything I trusted in and really loved, like, I'm gonna fight for it. So that shit started really in the summertime when we had to do them 110s. That's when we really came together as a team.
That
And that's
conditioning test.
what made me really like say, like, even if I'm in my feelings, I ain't gonna leave these boys.
No, that's real. So you get the FSU and you talk about the 110s and things like that. What was that biggest transition for you coming from high school to the college rank? The game is a little bit different on that playing field, right? Coming from, you got
Yeah.
all Americans everywhere.
What we talking about, on the field or off the field? Because Tallahassee.
Right.
It,
Listen,
it,
boy,
it,
yeah.
it's
That's
hey
another
look
thing too. You come from Orlando.
hey
Orlando got them, but it's a little different being in Tallahassee and being
hey
within.
ain't no comment. But goddamn, off the field wise, just the space away from home was biggest adjustment. Obviously, not many want to. I ask the high school kids now I work. I'm like, you gonna be homesick? And they be tough guy and shit. You're like, boy, you gonna be homesick as hell. Like, it's gonna hit you at some point. But on the field, it was literally like talent level. Once I got my confidence, that wasn't the reason. It was just trusting in everything, instincts, from the instincts to the just what I can do best, and that was route running. So once I trusted both of those, it was just a playbook they're getting your way, which is, truth be told, nobody gonna play first year in Jimbo offense except, like, not even James Winston.
No, that's real. Yeah, you're right about that. Not even James. um, so let's fast forward a little bit, man. I want to talk about some key games specifically. Let's talk about that. Can you down? Make you drop down for a second. We'll get them back. Like I said before, you guys, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I want to give a shout out also to another one of our sponsors, Realtor Jude Paul. Jude is a realtor in Southwest Florida. The service is the entire state of Florida. Again, Southwest Florida, but the entire state of Florida. Trying to buy a home and sell your home, Jude is your guy, and he will definitely take care of you guys. Again, Jude is your guy. He'll definitely take care of you. Knows how to take care of knows. You can check in with him at www.homesforknows.com. Oh man, y'all guys are y'all guys are wild in the comments, man, for sure. Yeah, we can.
Florida State, your brothers, your team, your heartbeat. We some dogs, we ain't no puppies.
Hey man, shout out to Roll Nova for the super chat. Help Auntie Lena, she's a simp.
What was that? My bad, by the way. What was that?
Well, whenever we get a super chat, man, we'll throw in a saying this, that, another. Man, that was James. Remember that speech he had? I think it was in 2015 or 2016 in Orlando. Matter of fact, when we open up against against Ole Miss. And we were down at halftime pretty bad, and James gave him that we some dogs, we not some puppies or whatever, and riding the boys up during halftime. But no, let's talk about that some key games within your career at FSU. One specifically, man, that Oklahoma game, you made that huge catch, taking the big hit in regards to that. A lot of people say that atmosphere, that game, so to speak, is one of the loudest they've been in, the loudest they heard in DoakTalk Stadium. So just kind of going back to that, it had me thinking, what was your when it comes to DoakTalk Stadium, what was your loudest moment, or the biggest moment, the loudest atmosphere you've been around in Doak?
Nah, that was it's funny you bring that up. I was literally I was golfing on Monday, and I got a Florida State bag, and it was a dude. He was like, I'm an Oklahoma fan, but my buddy loves you. And he brought up the hit, and I kind of told her, I was like, man, like, truth be told, like, it was one of the moments where that probably was the
I
loudest.
don't know how the hell you held on to that ball, bro, to be honest with you.
And he asked me, and I told him straight, I was like, straight up, that shit ain't hurt as worse as some of them other hits. But the fact that I was surprising myself in that course of like a few days was how did I pass this test, and how did I get back going the next week versus in Death Valley? Like, what I still to this day don't know what kind of mindset I was in and how did I do that, but it was like I guess, like I said, I'm always go back to, like, I guess I had some good folks around me, and that was my our training staff. Shout out to Jake. We had great, and I can keep naming on and on, but our training staff was top tier. I trusted them, and I do remember when they gave me the green light, they said I was okay, and that's all I need to hear, because in that moment of being away from ball for the course of 2-3 days after a moment like that, it was just like, man, I want to get back with my boys. That's always been my mindset. Like, I probably would have been an introvert if I didn't have sports, in a sense. But I've always been a team guy. I remember that was a physical game. We getting back to my senses. They went over the injury report. We had a lot of guys banged up. EJ was out for the next week, and we going to Death Valley. So I'm to myself, I'm talking to my mom all week, like, man, they say I'm good, but what would you do? Type shit. And like I said, the joyous thing of that moment and afterwards was missing class for a couple weeks. I milked the shit out of all that. I was getting desserts to the house, and hey, CJ, no lie, I passed that test on Wednesday. So I milked
that quick.
Wednesday.
You milked it that damn long, 2 weeks. So I'm teaching, like, man, how the hell you playing, Kenny, but you ain't come to class?
Man, hey, no nation, baby. You gotta look out for you. You gotta look out, man. Hey, they don't mentally. They know that would have been a lot, going to class, like, yeah, because this happens. Like, sometimes I always like to just vibe and just, I don't even wear gear to class. Like, I just like to be ducked off, and sometimes they get you. Look, I'm talking about, you supposed to be studying for a test, and they swarm you, So I get why they kind of told me to take it easy, but get my work
It
done.
makes sense on the day to day, man. Especially with you guys moving, man. It could probably be a lot.
But that probably was the loudest one, and shit, the second loudest one when we lost in 2012 to NC State. Them motherfuckers up there, hey, them howling folks, hey, that shit was loud.
Man, no, that was the NC State got an underrated stadium, man. And it was a
Man,
night game
hey,
too. I'm still pissed we lost that game.
I be telling folks about NC State and they look at me crazy, but they also like realize like I ain't gonna make that shit up. Don't ever be losing in that stadium at nighttime on a Thursday.
It's crazy because we always had real time going on that motherfucker too, man. So that your junior year, we ended up being 12-2, ended up winning the Orange Bowl. Did you guys feel at that point in time like, well, shit, like that 12-2 year, that could have been the year we won the national championship?
Hey, for sure, we was number.
Did you guys feel like that NC State game, the Florida game, anything like that is a year that I guess an opportunity that you guys let slip away?
Hell yeah! I mean, looking on it now in a older mind frame, shit, everything do really happen for a reason, bro. We was content, bro. Like we was number 2 in the nation. Each year we were progressing, and we was content, and we needed some shit like that, and that game did 2 things for us. Number 1, Jimbo kicked us off of social media, which was big, and number 2, we had a mindset going forward, like, fuck being up 14 or 21. Like, I'm really trying to have my homeboys in here, and Jimbo ain't gonna put the homeboys in till we up 30. Which kind of that's the path that we went on the 2013 year. We only played 1 or 2 full games. If you look back on it, so hell yeah, we knew going in. We knew going in we was gonna do it and shit. My first post and last post of that year, like it was a senior shot picture, and I just put up like, "Hey, see y'all after the season, 13-0," and we got that shit.
But that's crazy because coming into the season, people didn't believe. Hell, I felt like we'll take a step back too because we lost what we ended up going 12-2. We had a hell of a lot of people going to draft, including 3 first rounders. New quarterback, of course. Jameis was a 5-star. We had all the hype, but new quarterback, this, that, and other. You don't know what we're going to look like, and then of course he take the spring game by storm, or the previous spring game by storm. But you told me a story a while ago about just the work you guys put in with the 7-on-7 and all over the summer and things like that. Let's talk about the work you guys put in for that 2013 season.
Now we was doing a lot of behind the scenes work. Like you do NCAA rules, you got a grace period, and some teams either milk it, some teams some athletes take advantage of it, and it's a period of time where coaches can't force you to be in that building and practice, lift weights, nothing, and you can either chill.
You gotta have some accountability.
Hey, but like you said, like we coming off a year, like we almost there. Like fans sometimes don't realize, even athletes who haven't played on good teams don't realize, like it's hard to eclipse the top 10 at least in certain levels. And we was there, we number 2, so we the only one stopping us. And we pinpointed each place that we were struggling with, and it was sometimes off season. We had accountability talks, like we had talks where, hey, coaches, y'all got to get out. We got to handle us right now. And that shit was, that's the real legendary talks. Hey, that would be a great show if it could be aired, but it can't because it was so much being said that we needed to hear at the moment. Like, for example, like,
who was the guy that gave those talks to the team?
What's that?
Who was the guy that gave those talks to the team?
Man, we all like Telvin was the main front runner always, and like in a sense, we had so many leaders that shit, even the walk-ons felt like they can lead the other walk-ons. And at the end of the day, it was just like we was family. And yeah, like we during that grace period that we got to chill, we was 7-on-7, we getting our timer right, looking at film, like looking at what we can do better at. But we also locked in, in the classroom. Shit, I know at least that was my best GPA year, college and balance and all that shit hard. High school, you come out 3.0 easy. College, that shit is hard. So, man, we was due for it. But coming in, like you say, like folks be hating. I didn't realize folks hate FSU this much. until
it's
like
crazy.
until I sit back and be a fan and hit the tailgates and mingle with other fans, and that shit crazy. So I ain't surprised.
Nah. So we come into 2013 season, you guys got all the confidence in the world. You shocked I guess you shocked the rest of the world, so to speak, with that dominating performance against Pitt and things like that. End up whipping Maryland ass, a few Bethune-Cookman. It's crazy. I played a Bethune-Cookman. My last year was the year before that, and Cookman played FSU down in the toughest throughout that whole fucking season. If we've been one of the teams that played the toughest throughout the season.
Hey, I just need to know: is them wings as advertised?
Bro, you in Orlando? You ain't drove over yet?
No.
Come on, dog. Take that hour trip, dog. I promise you.
Look, I'm loyal to who loyal to me, and goddamn Flyers been loyal to me my whole life.
I feel that, bro. Take that trip to Daytona, dog.
Hey, if you're in Orlando, they know about Flyers, wings, and grill.
Oh no, Flyers legit. But nah, take a trip to Daytona one day, man. I'm telling you, some of the best wings you will fucking have, man. And it's the sauce, man. It's crazy, bro. It asks anybody. You asking me about it, so you done heard about it. I'm telling you. So the mystique about damn Bethune Grill wings is 100% the truth. Bro. I took on some coworkers that one damn time, and they hit me up all the time. They made random stops through Daytona just to get the wings. So I ain't gonna tell you nothing wrong to come to that food, man. I promise you, best wings you'll have.
All right, now, hey, I also come from the Chubby's in Tallahassee days, man. Hey,
better than Chubby's, bro.
Hey, Chubby's chicken.
You know, I'm well versed in Chubby's, but better than Chubby's.
Hey, me and my roommates, boy, some nights we couldn't sleep. Hey, we gonna wait in that drive-through, that little ass drive-through. We waiting.
Oh, that drive to go about 2 hours, depending on what time of night you go to. Oh yeah, you definitely at the right time.
No, CJ, look, we ain't even went out. Look, you hungry?
It's hungry as hell, and you ain't get back to your room by 3:30, 4 o'clock.
And I don't mind because it gonna.
We got a super chat, man. Play my theme music.
We got the best running back in the whole damn league, and we got a quarterback that's gonna toss that thing.
Shout out my boy Ant, man. Appreciate the support. Kenny, I just want to say I appreciate the catch you made against OU and that hit you took. Always had a lot of respect and admiration for that catch. Appreciate the love, man. But yeah, so let's talk about that season, the 2013 season. We playing Boston College pretty damn close. Mm-hmm. That shit, we look bad for the most part. And then you kind of give us a spark going into halftime with that Hail Mary catch. What was the message like in that locker room, after struggling with BC and trying to have that little spark at halftime?
Man, I always said this, and I still stand by it to this day. If you was able to get past practice with Jimbo, then the game's gonna be easy. Like, we put into so many scenarios where Jimbo was very technical now. He perfectionist. And it was to the point where it's like we practiced 5 seconds left in the half. Hail Mary type plays. We got KB in the back, jump man. It was like a system. And if you just trusted it and he give you a green light in a sense of just being loose, oh man, you can do anything. So, we was never worried at any point. Even you saw how calm he was that last drive in the championship game, because again, we went over it. Truth be told, hey, I know folks, they don't like to admit, like athletes, they do a play, they'll never like to admit, like, hey, I don't know how the fuck I did that shit, but that was one of the moments, like CJ, we practiced that shit, yes. And we might have lucked up like 1 out of 10 times with KB big ass catching it. But as far as, and we practiced the scramble drill. We practiced that, but I ain't never just up top one of our DBs. No, our DBs would legit. Like, if I'm going to get one of our DBs, it's route running. It ain't, I ain't topping them or mossing them like, so hell yeah. I'm glad the interviewer ain't asked me had I done that before. Because, people be lying for the world to see, definitely when they hit sports in the top 10. But
right.
yeah, hey, look, I don't know how I did it. I just know that I know how I got open, and that was we practiced that scramble drill. And Jameis, it definitely with
All right, so
Jameis,
this is
we knew Jameis was one of them dudes. Like he ain't really gonna get sacked often. Like it's something about it. He ain't like no Michael Vick, but it's it's
he
something
mobile in
about
the
bro.
pocket. He's slinging
Yeah,
people off. The first golf, if
hey,
you come in high, you're not really tackling them. He's slinging you off.
It's like hit that Alabama strength kick in. You be like, bro, you did that.
Mhm.
But hey, he did it, and that my dude.
All right, so let's get to the matchup everybody want to talk about. This is the game that pretty much put the damn country on notice for FSU, right? Top 5 matchup, number 3 in the country, number 5 in the country. We the underdog. We're going to Death Valley. We're going there at night. College game day, hype, build up, ABC, 8 p.m. This, that, another. That's happening this, the game of the year. I'm in Clemson pretty heavy, so I'm talking to people before the game. Not this. This is 2000. This is
Boy, that
2023.
boy, that's
Right, my
young
bad.
CJ right
This
there.
one right here. Yeah, so that's the 2023. We're gonna get that in a second. So
Oh
you
Lord,
remember Roy Church? He was a GA. He was a GA for Florida State, right? Roy Church. He was a GA for Florida State during that point in time. So
I
we're on the
remember, bro.
sideline talking.
Hey, look, I do remember, bro.
Yeah, he was a GA with the running backs. He played at Bama, won the national championship with Saban, and I think Pruitt brought him over on staff during that first year. So he played at Guyby with me. That's my brother in the middle. He played at Guyby with us. So we kicking and talking pregame and, talking about the game and this, that, another, how you feel, all that type of deal. We asked Roy, what's his opinion on the game? Straight face, no joking, this, that, another. Oh, we done broke the film down. Like, it's not going to be close. Like, we're going to blow y'all out. We're like, man, stop playing. This, that, another. This going to be a close game. I think FSU go win. The Clemson go win, whatever. Nah, like, I'm serious. We done broke the damn film down. Like, we see what it is. Like, it's not going to be close.
Yeah.
Running to Odell as well, too. Talking to Odell pregame. Yeah, coach, James is balling first year, this, that, another. But this is a different environment. We haven't really played a game like this on the road, this type of atmosphere, 8 p.m., all lights. CJ, I'm going to say right now, man, this kid different. I've been here a long time. I've seen a lot of guys, man, but this kid here different. Like, none of this doesn't faze him. Like, we'll be perfectly fine. And then you get to the point where you guys vote 55-14, biggest loss in Death Valley history, that type of deal. I was on the damn sideline literally when Nick O'Leary ran over Travis Blanks. I swear to God, it was right in my face. It was the hardest damn hit I've ever heard in person. Like, it sounded like a damn train wreck. You see it right
that
there.
little country strong fucker. That's my boy. Hey, shout out to O'Leary.
Man, Nick was a baller. So let's talk about that game and the work you guys put into that week leading into that game. What was your thoughts on that? How did you guys feel? I guess you guys were pretty confident coming in, talking to Roy. But what was the feel of the vibes like that game week leading up to that Clemson matchup?
Man, it was one or two things that week. It was all right. This is a big game. This is the only thing they flashing across ESPN. And then number 2, but they showing more Clemson highlights. What they talking about? And it's one thing, like, I get it, the broadcasters, all them folks got to do their job and push the narrative of who's the favorite. And Clemson was the favorite based on our record being in Death Valley. It's not an easy place. But if them folks would have saw our practice that week, hey, CJ, we ain't have a ball touch the ground. And in our practices, we are getting in 40 plus at least pass plays. So imagine what the fuck we had going. Yeah, hey, we was turned, and it's always, I've always liked playing the away games because sometimes you do get bored of just you want a different setting, and that's the truth. So I just know we were gonna beat the shit out of them. I ain't know it was by that much though. I ain't gonna lie. I gave us like 14, 21 points, but I ain't accredit what defense was gonna do. Like shit, they score about 2 times.
And that's the thing, bro. Clemson has some fucking dogs. Todd, Sammy Watkins, Martavis Bryant. They have some guys that receiving quarterback in. It's the same team that ended up winning the Orange Bowl, beating Braxton Middle, Ohio State, and Urban Meyer. So what you guys did wasn't you guys wasn't doing that to Wake Forest, man. You was doing that to a team that had a chance to win a damn national championship.
Facts. Nah, and you know what? The world need to see that all that little fake ass narrative they be trying to push sometimes. It's like, come on, man, just say the real storyline. We hate Florida State. We hope they ain't never good. But we got too much history. We got too much, old school energy. Like we got dogs, and they don't want to push it because ACC it's a thing. But hey, my record always been goddamn overpowering SEC, and these are things that are not talked about. So, after that point, they still was hating on us. They was shocked just as much as us. But we were just gonna keep rolling, man. After that point, we didn't know how big we had gotten still.
We ain't leaving without a victory. We ain't leaving without a victory.
Hey, talk about that pregame speech right there, man. What James gave y'all for that little classic clip right there for that 2013 game. Man, I think Tevin gave one too, but that's the one that stood out.
Man, hey, I ain't gonna lie, man. When he get up and talk, you don't know what's gonna come out, but whether you laugh or whether you tap your homeboy like this dude wild as hell, you gonna lock in with his speech at some point, because he gonna say something that you gonna be like, all right, he dead ass serious though, and hey, I'm gonna play for bruh. And that was like that. Honestly, like anybody could have got up talking. Timmy got up and talked at one point, and that was like rare as fuck. So whoever had gotten up, who at least had a leadership on the field, like they led by example on the field, we was gonna listen.
That's real, man. That's a lot of respect right there. All right, so you guys roll through the rest of the season. Then we get to this national championship game, and we get punched in the mouth first quarter against Auburn. We down pretty big against Auburn. When did you guys realize? Because I guess it's a story that KB ended up pouring out the Sentinels getting taken by what's your coach name? The one that was recent. That was at Coach Greg. That was recently at FSU previously. They ended up going to Auburn. He was at A&M with Jimbo too. When did you guys realize? I know let's say KB pouring that out. So walk us through that story about the Sentinels being stolen.
Man, when you're in that moment, like I didn't even notice it at the time until we got into halftime, and we can be up 40 and Jimbo, we still looking like, oh shit, we don't did something wrong. Jimbo was a perfectionist. He gonna point out something and maybe he'll give you a smirk and a keep it up type shit. But that was the calmest bro was ever during the halftime speech, which again, what we needed. You know what I mean? We were like, hey, bro fully trusts us and we gotta adjust. And we adjusted well. And that did come with a signal change. It came with not a signal change because that's too much to articulate, like sign languages in
during that time frame.
Yeah, so we just switched up who was giving out the signals. That way he don't know who the hell he looking. He don't know who we looking at. So they did a costume change, and we just knew who the Waldo was and focused.
That's
on
crazy, though. I think that's something Jimbo should have thought of. I know there's a lot going on as a coach, but doing the history of the coach, that's something you should have thought of, ahead of time. But nonetheless, though, what was the feeling within you guys like being down at that point in time and like you said, trying to rally back to win that game?
No, man, we had battled so much at that point on the field and off the field that I think at the time, regardless win or lose, we was gonna be brothers. So we also quickly got back to the point where it's like, but we don't came this far and overcame this much. Like, fuck it. Like, let's play for everything. We don't care who get the shine. And sometimes you get big games, people they get mad when they don't get enough shine. And it's like, fuck all that. Like, I don't care. Like, bro, CJ, bro, I damn near ran on the field when Big Pat Chad Chad Abrams, and that's my dude. Like, I damn near got a penalty running on the field because bro ain't scored too much touchdown, but I love that moment.
I remember that play like yesterday, man. Big play, man. Because like you said, Chad was he was a stone wall as a fucking fullback, bro. He cleared a
Big
lot of
bad
stuff out
Chad.
from backs. For
But
real, we
yeah,
better bring your bring your lunch pail and your hard hat whenever you meeting Chad in the hole for sure. So we get to the point where Auburn scoring the defense, which was surprising as hell to me. They ended up scoring on the defense for what they thought was the damn game when a touchdown. Of course, you got the Trey Mason premature Heisman polls, this, that, and the other. What was you guys' mindset? What was the message like going within that last drive? And how from a perspective of having a guy like Jameis Winston, how confident were you guys were within that drive, knowing like, hey man, I got this guy at quarterback. I know he's going to make the right decision, this, that, and another.
very confident, man. We got into that practice week. We was out there 2 weeks, man. And you know, people chill, coaches chill on the players' bodies at the end of the year, all them banging. But this dude Jimbo still had us regular practice from like week 1 type shit, like full pat. We was getting the schedule. We were like, man, this dude wild as hell. Like,
This dude nuts.
yeah, like, man, we in California, bro. But hey, you know, I'm glad he didn't do it. And like I said, we had rep that 2-minute end of the game we down for all year. He was smart to not change that. Because that's literally what we came down to. So all the little key components that we still practice, like even the Carlos Williams fake punt, we practice that shit every week. We ain't gonna rep it like 20 times, but we still had it, which is crazy, every week. So
well, that play was big too, boy. It was much needed too, because if we would have missed that, I don't know how that shit would have went.
It was a lot of shit, and man, everybody, like I said, we locked into our job, and you know, I still agree with that to this day. If everybody lock into their job and play for one another, then you're looking at a good run, and that's what we had. We ain't had no selfishness. We ain't had no. It's different now, like you said. You got NILs and all that stuff like that, but it's we locked in, and I'm just glad that we trusted like our coaches. I'm glad we trusted each other. That last drive, we was calm as ever. Like, it very calm.
So you guys end up winning the national championship. How was that? What was that feeling like winning the Natty? Like, that's you don't hear that too often. A lot of programs haven't done it. Hell, that was the first time we won it in 14 years, and it's 11 years now. Like, this is something that just doesn't happen often. You don't have the Bama type of run, so to speak, too often. So how was it like winning that national championship, and also just winning that national championship, but being Jimbo Fisher's first class?
It was special for sure. But it was just like after that point, it was just like, man, like, you know, it's almost inevitable that you're gonna have that next thought of like, damn, what's next now? You know, no matter how long it can take right away, it can take next week, but it was a mixture of emotions. And you know, we got to train for pro day. You got guys who trying to decide what they're gonna do. It was just a lot. And but we just knew at the time that we did something for a lot of people that we still don't know yet as 21, 22-year-olds, but it's gonna stay with us for life. And that's something that I'm happy that I can see a good group of them every year now.
Facts, that's real. All right, Kenny. So let's have a discussion. So 2013, you guys dominated, right? Ended up breaking all type of records, this, that, another. Like you said, you guys probably played in 1 or 2 games the entire damn season. There's a picture of PJ Williams and a couple of guys playing damn hangman on the sideline. Where do you think, and also just all the guys that went to the league, right, from starters to backups, this, that, another, it was crazy. The run that FSU was run, just from a talent standpoint. in your opinion, what do you guys stack up as far as, because there's a lot of debate, so I feel like this team gets a lot of fucking disrespect too, as far as, being one of the all-time great teams. What do you think that FSU team stacks up as being one of the all-time greats or being the best team ever?
Now we definitely stack up in the top three. If I be realistic, those Canes in '01, that's the only folks I think would have really went neck and neck with us. And I'm going from the whole board of things, and I'm trying to be respectful too with the OGs or whoever done it, because it's not easy, like you said. But overall, this world sometimes goes off stats, and if you go off stats, then we are technically the best to ever do it. You know what I mean? We had 12 games that the starters played 2 games of a full game. So imagine what that stat pattern gonna do if we play a full game. So, and we still had the greatest margin, the most points. Defense was lights out. Like on paper, it doesn't look as beautiful as it is, but when you do your research on it, we definitely we deserve to be those top one or two.
I mean, that team had no weakness. You had the best offense in the country, the best defense in the country. You had the best goddamn kicker in the country. The only weakness was freaking what? Punting. We never punted the damn ball. We had the best kick return in the country with Kermit. So it was really no weakness within that team from top to bottom. Like, some teams will have, we weren't that good in special teams, or defense was great, offense struggled, but it wasn't no weakness at all. Everything was top tier in all three phases.
Not facts. And I've learned coming on the other side of things as far as the fan world that, you're going to have people disagree. But, at the end of the day, they got to respect what we did, and which is beautiful because we are Florida State and is in the history books of doing it,
Facts. I ain't gonna keep you on too much longer. I know we're running kind of late, man. But let's talk about what you got going on currently as a player, and also just before we go, because you a couple of things I want to talk about real quick. So you spent a short brief time in the NFL, but the majority of your time came within the CFL. What was that transition like going from Canada, from U.S. football to Canadian football, from a play standpoint, and also from a cultural standpoint too? Being in the South all your life and then moving to Canada for those years.
Nah, it was I knew quickly after I ended it when Oakland Raiders at the time. I knew when I got cut before then with the Browns that I'm going against more than just what happened in college. Like, we had a beautiful system, as we kind of talked about. It's beautiful, and you can't really pick who you go to unless you're one of them like guys who can first round type guy. And even them, if you ain't top 5, you can't pick who you go to. So I ended up getting in with the Browns, which was like, they wasn't very good. Johnny was in that rookie class. Johnny Manziel, Josh Gordon at the time was on that team, and he's still the most freakish athlete I seen who didn't really put in his 100%. Hey, bro was like that. But
Gordon was different, man.
Yeah, so it was very political, if I can put it in a sense. Political can go either way, and I'll always remember it because it was my first NFL team. But it brought more. It wasn't as fun as not fun. It wasn't a good run as college was. So when I got out to Oakland, it was it felt like a little home because Janikowski was there at the time, Florida State guy. He's a human. Like you wouldn't think bruh is like as goated as he is based off how he talk and carry himself. And I just remember at the time, after that season, I was proud. I'm like, man, even if I ain't hit the 53, man, I was on practice squad. And it was just a surreal feeling because it's like that means I might be up next type shit. And this is the league we talking about, CJ. And all this is going through your head. And I just remember at the end of the last game, it was a shitty season. It was word in the locker room like, man, they breaking up. And I think that was the first time in my instance that my releasing came down to a switch of coaching staff and general manager, which was hard to take in because I worked for that. And even if it's practice squad, like I worked to get there, like beating some of the ones DBs. Like I earned it, and this new guy don't trust me. What's going on? So I remember my agent at the time was like, man, you want to try CFL? And I just remember at the time, like, truth be told, is a lot of ego. Like I think I was driven on ego, and I tried it out. And CJ, I ain't gonna lie, man, I don't seen Vince Young get cut. I don't seen Noel Devine in the tryout get cut. I was like, wait, hold on. You tell me I got to buckle up for CFL now too? Oh my God, what's going on? So I end up doing enough to get onto a Toronto Argonauts team. And I just remember my first year, I was good enough to stay on practice squad. And I still felt some type of way. I'm like, man, like check my resume type shit, but I don't voice like that because I'm not no asshole. But this is how like I'm carrying myself as far as like going back to like, hey, what can I do right to do it? You know what I mean? And I remember that exit meeting after 2015. It was like, Kenny, if you work hard, you'll be an all-star in this league. And I went from not playing it down in 2015 to that next following year, 1,200 yards. And it was one of the moments where it was like, that's crazy, type shit. Like, and in this league, you get 1 year counts as, even if you sit out, counts as a year. So I'm on contract year. So I end up being an all-star, up for a contract, like a pretty big contract. And CFL, you're American, they ain't gonna pay you as much as Canadians unless you 20 years in, but you're gonna get a good grip, like enough to survive even in America. And I just remember at the time I got that contract, CJ, and the first game next year, because I left the team to get the bigger contract. I left that team, and that was like probably the most top 5 hardest things in my life was coming off getting a good contract and tearing everything in my knee the first game after I just got the big contract. You know what I mean? You know how it'd be beef too. You be like, oh, he done left the team. Oh, he done went for the money. Hey, first game, everything. Surgeon said, dude, 2 years max you won't be able to run. And see, hey, I ain't never get hurt like that. Like, and just so imagine my mental. So that's
Right.
a lot of shit I be doing with these kids nowadays. Be like, some of it be just a walk of my life, just what I endured. Like, cause injuries gonna come, and you kind of see who there for you in a sense of things when you ain't playing ball. And hell yeah, that shit was tough. So yeah, I worked my way back and end up getting a few more stints. But after a while, even I could have played till I was goddamn blue in the face. It just ain't feel right no more after I did find out I was having a baby boy. It was just like, man, this shit don't feel right to be gone like 8 to 10 months out the year, then come build a relationship with little bro, and I'm scared of fatherhood because I ain't never done this shit, and I don't really know what these are all the things I'm telling myself. Like, I don't know, I didn't have no good guideline to be a good father. You know what I mean? So I'm just beating myself up, and yeah, I'm glad. Everything happened for a reason. So I'm glad that I made that uncomfortable decision of hanging up my first love.
that's real different too. I'm glad you kind of touched on that because that typically don't happen with football players. A lot of guys, of course, football breaks up with them first, and it's a lot of people don't talk about former players. It's a mental process in regards to what do I do next?
Mm-hmm.
What's life after damn football? You get stuck into this football is everything, and I don't want to discredit not these dudes, but you play in these small arena leagues, this, that, and other, paying $200, little stuff like that, just to try to still feel like you can make it. This, that, and other. A lot of people struggle with that. What's next after football? But you feel like, not feel like, it seems like you figured it out pretty quickly. With the sun being born.
Man, it was one of them things too. It's like I said, it's a time. We all have timelines of like when we was probably like we can date back to when we was like depressed or like a timeline. It just seemed like a few years of just darkness. Like if we're being honest, and it was just like from 2017 to like 2020, a year before my son was born. It was just like, man, this shit. I don't know. It ain't as fun. It ain't. I don't want it as I once did, and I'm doing everything I got, and I can still do it. I know I can because that's me. I've always beat the odds. I work on vengeance, but my mind telling me like I ain't really in it, and like I said, like I'm looking at this damn sonogram picture on my locker, and it's just like, man, I'm probably good on this. Like I'm gonna figure it out, and that's kind of when I went back to school, 2019 to finish up my 12 hours, and I tried coaching, and this high school shit, it's different, man. Hey, coaching is different. Like it's a coworker at the end of the day. You got to work with somebody, and either it's a good staff or it's a bad staff. And I don't like to sabotage anybody, but it was just like that. That pushed me into doing the foundation. So I'm thankful for everything I went through. But yeah, going away to school, and as I was in school, I had the receiving core and Justin and Blackman. Um, we were doing behind the scenes work, and I found a liking to giving back. So that's kind of really how it started. I was like, bro, I think I like coaching, like not in the sense of like all this traveling, recruiting, and doing the X and O's, but I just like doing it like this. And yeah, that's crazy that it kind of started like that. So I came back to Orlando after I graduated and said, let me help out my alma mater. And, it was a good run. I put some kids in college, one even into Bethune in the first year being a receiving coach. So I kind of knew that it was a niche, but honestly, CJ, I didn't know my full potential. And, I still don't, because I'm still gaining and maintaining, but I didn't know I was gonna have it like this.
So, oh shoot, we're in the loser, Kenny. Well, real quick though, man. Appreciate the super chat, man. Appreciate you, Jen. Go ahead and play my theme music.
Florida State, your brothers, your team, your heartbeat. We some dogs. We ain't no puppies.
Appreciate you, Jen. Shout out for the super chat. Great show. And also, Jen's became a member, man. Really appreciate that, man. So if you guys want to become a member, hit the link in the description. So yeah, you said to say this now. You're of course you're the CEO of your academy, Charles Raw Academy. So speak about that in regards to that. I guess you like I said this that way of coaching and giving back. And talk
Yeah,
about the
man.
organization, what you guys have going on currently.
Nah, it started like on some shit where it was like what I was doing with the FSU receivers when I was in school and Blackman. It was like a little Saturday session, and we getting in work, and we also going in the film room because they was once in my shoes, so it only felt right to give back. So I got back to Orlando and was like, man, I'm a coach, and I'm gonna do some weekend shit just to grab some kids. But I'm gonna do it in the sense where I know where I came from. I'm gonna do it pro bono, and that's how all the camps and all this shit started. Like I don't have 40, 50 kids. It started with one and it jumped up like 30, 40, and I don't want no dime out of them because, you know, some of these kids can't afford all that. Some of these kids coming from some crazy environments that, you know, I know they can't they can't afford that. And so I'm gonna figure it out. So thankfully I had some good business folks around me, you know, kind of help, which once was a LLC to a nonprofit, you know, to this day. And, you know, I kind of took the name of, you know, Charles Raw and just made it like a acronym, like Resilient Athletes Worldwide. That's what the Raw is. Because and I chose resilient because, as you kind of heard me talk tonight, it was just, you know, we all gonna overcome some shit. We gonna go through some shit in life. You know, we got to figure out what's next. And, you know, the more we realize that we can't do it alone, then, you know, we'll be all right.
Agreed, 100%. Well, let the people know, man. Plug your information in just in case they want to tap in and donate to the organization.
If you want to donate, I got a website, simply just shawsraw.com. This thing started out as a camp where, you know, I just bring back, you know, my former teammates. That's kind of how it started. I just wanted to make a reunion type shit, and I invited my teammates who all I came in the professional life with in, you know, football. So, you know, the first year, Dak Prescott, I just wanted to camp, and, you know, I went after that camp to Alabama. So the worldwide is more so because I'm trying to hit every city. Every kid needs some guidance. Every kid needs some hope, and I feel like, you know, that's my new calling nowadays. You know, because in a sense, you know, they kind of this is my therapy, and it's no stopping. So we went from doing football camps annually to we coming up doing college tours, golfing. You know, I got a golf clinic partnered up with First Tee starting up in May. Get some kids some free lessons because, you know, golf expensive, and I just know that me being a golfer for 10 months, you know, I'm pretty cold to be 10 months in with no teacher. So I can only imagine like a 10-year-old kid who he or she only see NFL, NBA, whatever, but they don't see golf. You know, we just trying to hit all aspects of life. You know what I mean? Golf kind of teach you how to talk, network, just come to one with each other. So we golfing. We got a lot of mental health, you know, events. I do a mental health camp every year where I get with some DCF and foster kids because, you know, they matter too. It just became more than just ball, and ball will ever be my first love, as I
Kind of,
kind of
you use
said
it as a
tonight.
platform, bro. That's all. Use it as a platform.
Yeah. So now it's just about, you know, just balancing everything because it is a lot. It's a lot of golfing. It's a lot of, you know, how to handle my family time. Like it's a lot. So you know, I'm always constantly trying to find the right balance of things. So, but I'm thankful that Lord gave me a platform like this, and, you know, kind of embedded in me to keep going no matter what.
All right, guys. Again, if you guys look for a camp for your kids, I'm telling you, man, tap into that camp. It doesn't get any better. Central Florida, not the hell, the entire state of Florida. Orlando isn't too far. It's no
Yeah,
more than a
we got our
5-hour damn drive at the furthest point. So definitely, tap in when it comes to route running things like that. Man, it doesn't get any better than what Kenny has to provide and the knowledge he can bring for
we got
sure.
our we
Last
got our
question before we get you out of here, bro. Like, what? You have something?
yeah, we got our Orlando camp April 27th, and we're
Mm-hmm.
going to Panama City June 15th. So it's a free camp. You want your kid to get some work, get a good family based home, come holler at me, come sign up. CharlesRaw.com, KShaw81 on all platforms, and yeah, we trying to vibe.
You guys heard that, man. We got Orlando coming up April 27th, and of course we got Panama City coming up as well. Tap in if you're in those areas, get some good coaching, let the kids meet some guys that could probably inspire them to push forward and be that next generation of Kenny Shaws and things like that. Last question before we get you out of here, man. So, of course, we had FSU 2023, end up going 13-0, being left out of the playoffs, this, that, and the other. It's a lot of conference realignment talking things like that. FSU versus ACC and lawsuits. What's your opinion on all of that, and what conference do you think FSU ends up with once the dust kind of settles?
Well, my whole thing with all this is NCAA, you know, they were full of shit for doing that decision on the playoffs, which kind of pushed us to this barrier of what's next. And I think that, you know, I didn't know it was this deep until something like this happened. It's kind of like COVID. We didn't know how big it was till afterwards, you know, with all shit happening. But I just feel like regardless of whatever decision they make, I don't think they should do what they did this year to a team like us, as far as shunning them from the playoffs. Only because it's hard as fuck to be undefeated week in, week out. Because you're going through 4-quarter drills, you're going through life at home, you're going through tutoring, you're going through being on time for meetings, you're going from meetings. It's a lot, and you just telling us we can't compete with some guys because of what? So moving forward, you know, because it is the past, I don't think they should do nothing like that no more. And I think that we're going in the right direction as far as what we getting and who we have as a coach and coaches.
I agree with you 100%. I think Mike is definitely the right man for the job. Keenan, bro, it's always a pleasure, man. Appreciate you, dog. Keep pushing forward. We got a great platform, dog. Keep using it for positive stuff, man. I appreciate you for sure.
Hey, I might see y'all April 20th too.
Hey, man, if you pull up, man, we gonna hang out real good, man. Come definitely hang out, bro. It's gonna be a good weekend, dog. I'm telling you.
Say no more.
Matter of fact, the last spring game you was up there, we hung out pretty good too, man. That Friday at the cigar lounge, man, we got to run that back.
No, I'm down. Look, I'm gonna be out there. I think Thursday, because the golf thing early Friday, but we definitely got to let's orchestrate that cigar thing. I like that.
Yes, sir. We definitely gonna hang out for sure, man. Appreciate you, dog. Again, make sure you guys like this video, subscribe to the channel. If you want to become a membership, man, appreciate you, Jen, for joining. We have the link in the description. Again, go NOLES. Like the video, subscribe to the channel.
All right, my boy.